future as they begin this new chapter in their lives. And certainly there is ample evidence of this support here today. I see a lot of work has gone into the decorating, and I'm sure that biscuits or sandwiches or something that they're doing for food later on. And I know everything came up on very short notice. We didn't have a lot of time to prepare, but anyway. Today, of course, both families will be enriched and enlarged. Both families will be able to add another branch to the family tree. Now, when I do these ceremonies, I'd like to make a few personal comments about the couple. I like to keep it light like that. And I'd like to mention a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank them for their cooperation and their compatibility in selecting some of the things for the ceremony itself. They have a beautiful 15-month-old daughter. I saw her here before, and that's a real blessing for them. And first of all, I'd say a couple of things about George. I hate to say it, George. I didn't mean it that way. I hate to say it, George, but it's been over 30 years since I had you as a student in Inverness Consolidated. And who would have imagined the day would come that I would be doing your wedding? And you'd be on such good behavior. I guess the old adage is true. Never say never, George.
Right.
Never give up either.
No. Right. I won't.
I know George worked as a fisherman, and he, of course, was forced to retirement due to ill health. And like George, I too am having ill health at the present time. But we're both fighting through it, George. We're getting there.
That's right.
We hope. Paula, I didn't know you until 2 days ago. Met you for the first time, but I am able to make a few observations. First of all, I know that she works at the Inverness Manor as a continuing care specialist assistant. And I think that's appropriate now that you're a continuing care assistant. You'll be able to help George in his care.
Well, you know.
I know that you came to Nova Scotia, approximately 10 years ago, all the way from Louisiana. And I do know that she's comfortable in 3 languages.
Yes.
In English, French, and Spanish. You're going to have to get her on the Gaelic, George.
They're starting me at the manor already. They're teaching me.
The future holds lots of opportunities to master the Gaelic. Since being here, she also has found out that there's possible connections, roots from the Shady Camp area. And I know every year the French in Shady Camp celebrate the Macarem.
Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Mardi Gras.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Macarena.
Macarem,
Okay.
yeah. And I know the people from Louisiana are into that as well, very big time. So it's very strongly possible that you could research it a bit further
Yes.
and find that you have those connections. I better not say anything more about either of you before I get in trouble. So I'd like to proceed with the ceremony itself. The first part of the ceremony is referred to as the preamble, and in that I think you'll find the main message of the wedding ceremony itself. There are some good points in it, and I think if you abide by them, things will go well in your marriage. Okay? Anyway, this man and this woman have come here this afternoon to be joined together in marriage. The essence of this commitment is the taking of another person in his or her entirety, as a lover, as a companion, and as a friend. It is therefore a decision not to be taken lightly, but rather with great consideration and respect for both the other person and for oneself. Paula and George have invited us to share in this celebration as they affirm their love before us, pledge their faith to one another, and enter into the joys and the privilege of marriage. Love is one of the highest experiences we human beings can have, and it can add depth of meaning to our lives. The day-to-day companionship, the pleasure of doing things together, or of doing separate things, changing experiences, is a continuous and central part of what a man and a woman who love each other can share. Now the question has sometimes been asked, why was marriage established in the first place? Now we could spend the evening here, I suppose, talking about that and really not reach any consensus, right? So anyway, the people that supposedly know how, why, have offered three main reasons. And I think the reasons are quite appropriate. First of all, marriage was established that husband and wife might have lifelong companionship. Secondly, that natural instincts and affections might be fulfilled in mutual love. And thirdly, that children should enjoy the security of family life, love, and home. I really emphasize the last one because as a teacher, you know, I know how important it is. And I'm sure your little daughter will appreciate it. Another question that is sometimes asked is, what does marriage symbolize? Another difficult question to answer in a few words. So maybe before trying to answer that, we should ask ourselves, what does this wedding ceremony taking place right now? What does the wedding ceremony symbolize? We should always remember that the wedding ceremony is only a symbol, a celebration, and of course a public recognition. Nothing I could say or do would make it anything more than what already exists in your hearts. But marriage is really more than words and ceremony. It is a commitment to be reaffirmed each and every day. I think you're agreeing, right?
Yes, I am.
Marriage symbolizes the intimate sharing of two lives. Yet this sharing should not diminish, but rather it should enhance the individuality of each partner. A happy marriage is one that is continually developing while growing in understanding of the other person. By growing together in love, it is possible to share not only the joys of life, but the burden of sorrow as well. Paula and George, your marriage is intended to join you in a relationship so intimate and so personal it will change your whole being. It offers you the hope and indeed the promise of love that is true and mature. To attain such love, you will have to commit yourselves to each other freely and gladly for the sake of a richer and deeper life together. Didn't hear it.
Yeah, no, sorry. Try not to.
Remember, it is your marriage. It is yours to define. It is yours to make real. And above all, it is yours to live. And I'd like to leave you with this definition of love. I don't know who wrote it, but love is not about finding the perfect person. It is about learning to see an imperfect person perfectly. To live by that slogan, I think
That's right.
things will be well.
That is right.
I'd like to ask the question now, if any man or woman can show just cause why this couple may not be joined in marriage. Let them speak now, or forever hold their peace. Am I hearing some Twitter from up there?
That's okay, it's all good.
It's all good. You say it's all good. Hearing no objections, then I'd like to move to your first declaration, and for each declaration you'll be repeating after me. Okay? I'll
I'd like to, please.
Okay, your first declaration. Okay. Okay, George, you can repeat after me first. I do solemnly declare
do solemnly declare
that I do not know
that I do not know
of any lawful impediment
of any lawful impediment
why I,
why I,
George Bernard
Bernard
O'Connor,
O'Connor,
may not be joined in matrimony
may not be joined in matrimony
to Paula Ann Verdon.
to Paula Ann Verdon.
And Paula, your turn. I do solemnly declare
I do solemnly declare
that I do not know
that I do not know
of any lawful impediment
of any lawful impediment
why I,
why I,
Paula Ann Verdon,
Paula Ann Verdon,
may not be joined in marriage
may not join in marriage
to,
to George Bernard O'Connor.
very good, George Bernard O'Connor. I was thinking of George Bernard Shaw when I
I'll read it as a poem for you.
We'll now go and turn to the most meaningful part of your wedding ceremony, which would be your vows, of course. And I'm going to let George go first again. I don't know if George will always be first in the marriage, but
Not up to today.
so
Yes,
George, you repeat after me. I, George, take you, Paula,
I, George, take you, Paula,
here present,
here present,
to be my lawful wife,
to be my lawful wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
and to be faithful to you
and to be faithful to you
from this day forward,
from this day forward,
for better, for worse,
for better, for worse,
for richer or poorer,
for richer, for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish
to love and to cherish
all the days of my life.
all the days of my life.
And Paula, I, Paula,
I, Paula,
take you, George,
take you, George,
here present,
here present,
to be my lawful husband,
be my lawful husband,
to have and to hold,
have no hope,
and to be faithful to you
and to be faithful to
from this day forward,
this day,
for better, for worse,
for better or for worse,
for richer or poorer,
for rich or poor,
in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish,
to love and to cherish,
so long as we both shall live.
so long as we both shall.
Very good. Get emotional. Do you have your rings?
Yes.
They didn't get lost.
Could you give them to me first? Okay, the first thing I'd like to do about the ring is just tell a little bit about the symbolism of the ring. The circle is a perfect figure, without beginning, without end, with no area of weakness. It is a symbol of the cycle of life, of birth, of death, and rebirth. This shall serve as a physical reminder of your vows, and that all things begin and end, and begin again. By the exchange of these tokens of your love for one another, so are your lives interlaced. What one experiences, so shall the other. As honesty and love build, so will your bond strengthen and grow. I'd like you to take this ring, George, and put it on the third finger of Paula's left hand while repeating after me. I commit myself to the bond
to the bond
and unique relationship
and unique relationship
that exists between us,
that exists between us.
and pledge to keep it alive.
Pledge to keep it alive.
As this ring has no end,
As this ring has no end,
neither shall my love for you.
neither shall my love for you.
And Paula, I'd like you to take this ring and place it on the third finger of George's left hand while repeating after me. I commit myself
I commit myself
to the bond
to the bond
and unique relationship
and unique relationship
that exists between us,
that exists between us,
and pledge to keep it alive.
and pledge to keep it alive.
As this ring has no end,
As this ring has no end,
neither shall my love for you.
neither shall my love for you.
Ring's fitting okay?
No, not really.
Push it over enough. You're sweating, it'll go on.
I know.
Take your time.
Dry down.
Spit on it.
It's not coming out.
I don't want to touch it.
It's all right.
She's on.
Guess he wasn't 11.
She just wants to make sure you'll never get it off.
It's not coming out.
Okay.
And for your final declarations, again, we'll let you go first, George. I call upon all persons present
I call upon all persons present
to witness that I,
to witness that I,
George Bernard O'Connor,
George Bernard O'Connor,
do take thee,
to take thee,
Paula Ann Verdon,
Paula Ann Verdon,
to be my lawful wedded wife,
to be my lawful wedded wife.
and Paula, I call upon all persons present
I call upon all persons present
to witness that I,
to witness that I,
Paula Ann Verdon,
Paula Ann Verdon,
do take thee,
do take thee,
George Bernard O'Connor,
George Bernard O'Connor,
to be my lawful wedded husband.
and my lawful wedded husband.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Solemnization of Marriage Act, I hereby pronounce you Paula Verdon and George O'Connor to be husband and wife. You may seal your vows with a kiss.
Can't get a room.
I said a kiss.
Thank you.
We will now proceed to the signing of documents. So you might want to move the little table over. And just sign it first.
Mom, come out here and sign my name.
Sign your name.
You're a left-hander.
Turn around, Cissy, to the
Come
side.
to this side, Mom.
Around here.
Come by,
Come
come
around,
to
Mom.
this side, Mom.
Come around.
Come around to the back.